Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to Fascination Street.
I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Gabriel Jarret. Gabe is an actor who's been in the business for more than 30 years, with his first feature film being the cult classic Real Genius. As a matter of fact, he was the lead character. In this episode, naturally, we talk about what got him into acting, and we talk a little bit about that big first film, Real Genius. He tells us some of the secret stuff behind the scenes and maybe some trivia stuff you didn't even know. And then we move on to one of his other big films, Karate Kid 3. He had a small role, but it was very impactful, and it stands out in his memory, and he tells us all about why that is. And then he tells us stories about being in the touring company for the musical Fame, and some funny things that happened on his opening night. Of course, we talk about his new film, Ask Me to Dance, which is written and directed and starring previous guest of this show, Tom Malloy. We also touch briefly on Gabe's other film out right now called 13 Minutes, which is based on a true story and stars Anne Heche. And then finally, we talk about why Gabe became an American Sign Language translator and why he continues to do that to this day. Make sure you look for Ask Me to Dance and 13 Minutes, those two films. Also, we briefly touch on his upcoming TV series called Bring on the Dancing Horses, starring Kate Bosworth. And all three of those projects will be out later this year. 13 Minutes is already out, but the other two, look for them. They're coming. Keep your ear to the ground. And this is my conversation with actor Gabriel Jarret.
Yeah, talk to me, yeah.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Gabriel Jarret. How are you doing today, Gabriel?
I am excellent. How are you doing?
I am fan-freaking-tastic. Can I call you Gabe?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Cool. I think that this episode will be about 15 minutes shorter if I don't have to keep saying real.
Wow, 15, a quarter of the show, you say?
Yeah, so what I do is I just keep saying your name over and over again, and then
yes, there you go.
Oh, man, I tell you what, it's just keep going. So, Gabe, what I like to do is I like to start off with where people were born and raised, where they came from, and I think it helps give us an idea of how they got from where they were to where they are. So, yeah, a little perspective. So, if you don't mind, where were you born and raised, man? Where'd you grow up?
I was born and raised, ready for this, exotic location, born and raised in Malibu, California.
Very few other people were raised there, like Sean Penn, Rob Lowe.
I know.
Exactly. All those nobodies.
Yeah, the ones that you really thought would just, the ne'er-do-wells, if you will.
I really thought they were going to be somebody, but here we are. Nothing happened.
Here we go. Yeah, born and raised in Malibu, California. Actually, technically, I was born in Westlake Village, just over the hill. Raised there. So, I was on the mean streets.
That's funny. So I'm going to assume that the reason that you were born kind of in that area is because your dad was kind of in the business.
Yeah, it's an industry town for sure. It's still a small town. Malibu's still like a little area, but it's next to this big industry, and it's the place everybody goes to get away from things. And, it was really nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. My family started out poor. I think by city charter, you have to have at least two poor families in Malibu. It might have been raised since then. I don't know. But mine was one at the time. And then my dad started working and things got a little bit better. It was not exactly the worst place to go. Even if you're on the poor side of things in Malibu, you're still doing pretty well. My parents, they had an avocado grove on the property that we were on, and I'd exchange avocados for I'd bring it down to the store and exchange it for groceries. And around the holidays, it was like, they'd send me there with a bag of avocados. I'd come back with a couple lobsters. It wasn't exactly the worst way to go about things, actually.
Well, having your own avocado orchard sounds really poor, dude. I'm glad you turned out okay.
Yeah, but in Malibu, we were considered farmers.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I could be wrong on this, but I think Malibu has some pretty strict construction laws as far as the environmental whatever.
You bet.
As a matter of fact, I think Suzanne Summers had a house in Malibu, like right on the beach, and then it burned down.
She did.
During one of the wildfires or something. And
yes.
I don't think she was ever able to rebuild because of all of the environmental protection things.
Sadly, you are absolutely correct on that. And sadly, the same thing happened to my parents 2 years ago. The house that I grew up in Malibu burned down in the Woolsey fire.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It was certainly and is something that we're still dealing and struggling with. But honestly, we're not alone. A lot of people lost their homes in that one, as they have in many fires throughout the years. I mean, you just mentioned that one's old school. I mean, that one's classic because I think that's the first time everybody realized that it doesn't matter where you're living. When your home burns down, your home burns down. It's not something that you recover from easily or quickly.
Yeah, it's not something that just happens to poor farmers like you and your family.
Right, exactly.
So I hate to be that guy, but let's get on to the important stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Did the avocado trees survive?
Sadly, no.
Oh, no, I was totally kidding. And that makes the story even worse.
Even worse. Yeah, no, the avocado trees didn't make it. It's all right.
Well, that is rough. I could be wrong, but I think I spoke to a fella who's an actor such as yourself, who basically risked his life to save some horses in those Malibu wildfires that we were just talking of. William McNamara.
Yes.
I think that was the fire he was talking about, where he told some pretty hairy stories about that fire.
Yeah, and I have video where I actually, I made the huge mistake of trying to go and save computers because my parents grabbed everything. And I said, the one thing I said to them, please just grab the computers so we don't have to rebuild your life. And of course, they left the computers, which I tried to go back and save. By the time I got to the entrance because they lived up Mulholland Canyon where it comes out on Leo Carrillo. And that's the heart of where the fire went through. And by the time I got there, it had already burned all the way to the sea.
Oh, wow.
It had already burned to the other side of PCH. And I found myself on PCH with fires on both sides of me. There I was fine because, it's a rather wide area. You're not necessarily going to, explode right there. But I decided, I was going to try and go save these computers. And I looked up Mulholland Canyon. If I had gone up there, I went about 200 yards in and I went, what am I doing? I'm most likely not going to make it out of this if I go up there. Thank God better angels were with me that day because I listened, I turned around and didn't go up. And sadly, that's where the 3 people that died in that fire were our neighbors. And they were about 3 houses up from us. And that's where they lost their lives. And I would not have made it out. I'm 100% sure of that.
Wow. What a harrowing story, man. I'm so sorry about all of that.
Yeah.
This show is around the world, not just California. So everybody listening, when he said PCH, that's Pacific Coast Highway. It's right there.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. It's right there on the edge. It's
shouldn't famous. Everybody know what that
is? We just touched on it briefly, but your dad was a screenwriter who, as far as I know, his biggest, most celebrated film was Every Which Way But Loose.
That's right.
Could have been other things. Who knows? Yeah. What a super talented guy. That's awesome. Let's talk about you, man.
Yeah, okay. So my favorite subject.
Oh, sweet. So you're growing up in surfboard country.
I am, yeah.
Let's see here. Avocados and surfboards. So naturally, you decided that you wanted to get into the business.
Of course.
Of show. Well, how old were you, and when was it that you decided to stick your baby toe into the business?
Well, I was about 11 when I made that foyer into the world of show.
I'm going to interrupt you right there. Gabe, this show is all around the world. So in some places it's called a foyer, some places it's called a foyer, and it's really just the entrance room of a house. Okay, please continue. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. My bad. I shall correct myself.
So you entered the foyer.
Yes, I entered the foyer of industry of show. My dad didn't want me to do it. He wanted me to have nothing to do with it. And was like, you're going to go to college. You're going to study like hell, do what you want in your profession. But he didn't want me in there. And so I didn't tell him that I was auditioning for whatever and going out and submitting myself. And the first time that he realized that I wanted to actually pursue it was when he got a call from Disney asking for my sizes.
That sounds creepy.
He was like, what? What's a little creepy?
So that was for a really, really terrible show that we're not even going to talk about because it's dumb. But you know what? That show right now, we could really use something like that.
Yeah, you're not kidding, actually.
Kids, that show was Mouser size, and it was basically an exercise show for children's.
Yes.
Which I'm talking to you, all you fat little kids. Y'all could do some exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need a reinforced trampoline.
Right.
It wasn't, I don't even think, maybe 3 whole years later, you got your first film.
Yes.
And not only did you get cast in your first film, if I'm not mistaken, you were cast as the lead.
Yes.
What are you, 14, 15 years old?
14, yeah.
You got this entire giant film all over your back.
Yes.
How stressful. Well, first of all, tell everybody what it was.
Am I allowed to say the first word, or are we going to cut for time and just go right to genius?
We can cut for time.
Okay. Well, then it was called Blank Genius, and I was the lead of it. Yeah, Real Genius came out in 1985? 85, yeah.
Though you were the lead, somebody else ended up, I guess, being the star. Is that how we say it? I don't know how to say this.
I don't think it was planned that well. It might have been planned that way. I don't know. It's starring myself and Val Kilmer, and
I love that you say it in that order. That's how I would say it, and I'm sure that's how it was on the call sheet.
Excuse me, that I do believe.
That's what I'm saying. It was on the call sheet that way. So take that, Val.
So he and I play college whiz kids that make a laser and get stolen by the government, and we say, "Oh darn!" and try to get it back.
When that movie came out, I was, I don't know, roughly that age, maybe a couple of years younger.
Yeah,
I was probably 10 or 11 when that came out, and man, did I want to be that smart kid who went to college. But then here's the thing. In my neck of the woods, I don't know if it was talking out of school or lies and balderdash, but when you were in middle school, all you heard was that the seniors will stuff the freshmen in lockers. And so I was like, well, let's see here. Obviously, I'm smart enough to just skip right over high school and go to college. But if the high schoolers would stuff me into a locker, what kind of terrible shit would the college people do to me?
Yeah.
So I just said, fuck it. And then I just, I went to school
I think you probably, you dodged a bullet on that one. I think you made a wise decision.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, the pranks are a lot worse. A lot worse.
Okay, so in this film, Real Genius, which is, I think, has reached cult status by now. It's such a great film. Oh, right. Real quick, you don't have to answer this, but do you still get paid on that film? Do you still get paid royalties?
Yeah. Residuals?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, they come in for all of it. I mean, now, granted, they're a lot less. Than
they dwindle, right?
Yeah, they dwindle.
Diminishing returns, so to speak.
Now I think I get a poor boy sandwich every now and then.
Ooh. But not one in Malibu. You got to drive to like North Beach
you got to go to poorer areas of the city.
Okay, so in this film, Real Genius,
yes,
there's 3 things I want to talk about.
Okay,
1, there was a scene or 2 that was filmed in Barney's Beanery. Which one was it?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is back when there was only one.
Was it the one in Burbank?
No. This is the one on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
All right, thank you.
I believe that was the original Barney's Beanery. Right?
Let's go with yes. We know it's not the one in Burbank because that's inside a mall. So
right. So, no, it's not the one in Burbank. This was the original Barney's Beanery, and when we shot it, Barney's had been around forever. So I mean, it was a long history on that one.
Yeah, that's the one where what's her name? OD'd there, right, or something?
Who?
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes?
Oh, Janis Joplin.
Yeah, didn't she OD there and they carried her across the street to the hotel or some shit like that?
Oh my God, I'll bet. You know what? I think you're right.
I think I heard that, and I don't think I'm at liberty to say who I heard that from, but I do.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I think you're right.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up as to which Barney's that was.
Yeah, I'm sure that was very important.
Well, it was because I'm in San Antonio and I've only been to LA a couple of times, and every single time I go to LA, I stop into Barney's, but I stop at the one in Burbank, and there's a reason for that, and it's because a friend of mine takes me there, and we'll get to him later because you've been in movies with him as well.
I have.
You have.
Oh, can't wait to hear who.
I know, right? Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about from that movie, Real Genius, is, am I correct? Was one of the producers a very young Brian Grazer?
Yes, he was. This is pre-Imagine.
Can you imagine?
I can.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Texas has a reputation for being tough on crime, But beneath the surface, buried in the darkness that only those affected by tragedy know, is the reality of a flawed and insufficient justice system. More than 60% of violent crimes in Texas go unsolved, and many are at the hands of offenders who should have never had the opportunity, madmen who slipped through the cracks. On Gone Cold Podcast, Texas True Crime, you'll find in-depth accounts of unsolved homicides, missing persons cases, and other mysteries throughout Texas. From the historic and perplexing case of the 1948 disappearance of a Denton co-ed, Virginia Carpenter, to the unthinkable, the Orange, Texas abduction and murder of 4-year-old Denaria Finley in 2002. You can find and subscribe to Gone Cold, Texas True Crime, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
So, I don't know if he was involved, but you did a bunch of films with his partner, Ron Howard.
That's right.
Ron Howard's brother, Clint Howard,
Yes.
is my friend who takes me to Barney's.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How is he doing?
He is the best. He recently got married. Like, he got married during COVID, and
Good for him.
I've never seen him happier.
Good for him.
He's so rad.
I love Clint. He's hysterical.
He is so cool. He's a lot of fun. And everybody listening, go back and check out those episodes with Clint. And make sure you follow him on Instagram, because now that he's married, he's posting a lot more, and he's posting some really funny stuff.
Oh my gosh. Tell Clint that I have yet to come up with my revenge for the prank that he pulled on me with him and Ed Harris.
Apollo 13?
Up on Apollo 13. He played a prank on me, and it was so good that I had to take these last 30 years, 25, 30 years to figure out the best revenge. And it is coming, Clint. You're not going to know when or how, but it's coming.
I'll let him know to keep looking over his shoulder.
He better.
Last thing on that movie. This could be apocryphal as shit, but tell me about the popcorn factory.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard about that.
What happened?
What happened? What happened is whoever they hired to make the popcorn, which was 18 tons of popcorn. And I don't know if you've ever bought popcorn at the movies, but it's not all that heavy when you get this huge bag. So 18 tons of that is going to translate into many semis full of popcorn. And the company that they used to make all that popcorn in such a limited amount of time, because they only had a certain amount of time to get all this popcorn out, the company decided to run the machines 24/7, which they weren't supposed to do because these are machines that are filled with hot oil. And as you imagine, some cool down time might be necessary. I'm sure that was in the planning of the factory when they built it, but they didn't expect as a movie company to come along and say, we want all this popcorn now. And they ran them 24/7, and the darn thing burned down.
The factory burned down.
The factory burned down, yeah.
Now, I'm sure you don't know, but was that covered in the film's insurance?
No, I don't think it was, actually.
That sucks so bad.
I don't know why I would know the answer to this, but I don't think so.
Hello, you were the lead. You were 14. You were kind of a really smart kid. I had Brian to leave all that too. He could think about that stuff. No wonder that guy looks so stressed out all the time.
Yeah, he does. He does.
All right, moving on. Suffice it to say, that movie is fantastic.
Thank
you did a wonderful job. I often refer to the scene where your character is peeing into a urinal and this young lady is talking to you, and then she just says, "Are you done yet?" And you're like, "No, I haven't started." And she's like, "Why?" And you're all, "Because you're standing there." And she's like, "Weird." Now,
yes, right,
that has stuck with me ever since, and I bring it up all the time. So
because it's just like it's one of those things. Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, I know. I can't pee when someone's staring at me.
Like,
weird.
How is that weird, lady?
I don't know. Like, you know what? I didn't even have a chance to comment on that.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I was still just kind of in shock.
And I feel like John Hughes called back to it in The Breakfast Club. Yeah. And Judd Nelson is pretending like he's going to pee. And then they start talking to him. He's like, shh, I can't pee while you're talking. Like, I feel I feel like that was a callback to your thing.
I don't know about that. Maybe.
Look, I talked to John Hughes oh, wait a minute. Okay, so you were in a different movie. Another huge movie.
I was?
Yeah. This is just like maybe 3-4 short years later. You were in another movie. I know this is news to you, but that's what I do. I break the news to the folks involved.
I'm so happy.
If you can, in, I don't know, 40 to 45 minutes, tell me why shooting The Karate Kid 3 was one of, if not the most challenging role of your career.
Well, I had 104-degree fever at the beginning of the shoot, and that was combined with an 18-hour workday. That's just like some of the practical reasons that it was difficult. But the more complex version, it's a fight scene where Ralph Macchio hits me in the stomach and punches me in the face, elbows me in the stomach, punches me in the face. I go flying across the dance floor. And John Avildsen, the director, wanted to have that shot in one take, and he wanted it from right on my face to watch me slide across the dance floor, which meant that there was no pads on the floor. I was just going to go sliding, which is fine, except for the fact that I had a 104-degree fever, and I must have hit that dance floor about 50 times to try and get that rather complex shot.
Sure.
Because I also had blood all over me, and I was getting blood pouring out my face, as well as grabbing my face and pulling it off, and I had a sponge in there, and all this blood work, and then the slide. And I must have hit that dance floor about 50 times. At the end of that day, my whole left side of my body was black, not black and blue. It was black.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good times. And naturally, Robin Lively, bless her heart, she tried to be as nice as she could to me, but she had this absolutely deathly ill person. Can you imagine going to work today with 104-degree fever, what people would do?
Well, they would shoot you in the face.
They'd shoot you in the face. It'd be like, what the hell?
For everybody else.
And as it was, I was living in a different time back then, and I just had to deal with her being a little mildly annoyed.
You only had, I think, was it one day on that movie?
Yeah, well, 18 hours, but it was, one 18-hour day. Yes, exactly.
I should not have used the word only, and I
only one. It was epic.
And yet, even though it was, and I'll say this, just one day, I feel like Ralph kind of took you under your wing and kept you from getting razzed and messed with by some of the folks.
He really did. John Avildsen was getting a little bit miffed. He was getting a little bit frustrated because
it took 50 takes. Yeah, I'd be mad too.
Yeah. Okay, no, hold on. In fairness to me,
no, I'm going to cut all this out.
All 50 of those takes were not the same shot. Okay?
I'm going to cut all of that out and make you look terrible. 50 takes and just for you to fall down.
50 takes, it was not the same shot, no. But he was getting frustrated because the effect that I think he wanted was like for this stream of blood to come out my face and, then see the rest of me going flying. And the blood kept coming out, but he was like, I can't see it. Finally, Ralph Macchio jumped in and he goes, John, he's not blocking his face. He thought I was blocking my face with my hand. Macchio was like, look at my shirt. And on his shirt, where I was supposed to hit the blood, it's like there's just this large splorch of blood all over the place. So and then we were able to figure out why they couldn't see the shot. It was coming out in sprays rather than that. Anyway, it made me feel good that at least, the other people in the scene knew what was going on and were able to let him know what was happening because the director couldn't see it from where he was at.
Nice. Yeah. We're going to take a short break. This episode brought to you by the word splorch, not a real word. Now, back in the day, I feel like this is a short time of your career, but correct me if I'm wrong. Back in the day, not only did you open for Tower of Power, but you toured with Fame the Musical? What?
I did.
What did you took this crazy left turn and became a singer and a musical theater guy?
I didn't become a singer. I was a singer. I just hadn't found my platform for it yet.
Man, I am just really insulting the shit out of you. It was only one day. You're terrible at You became a singer. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
You're not pissing me off at all. No, you're not. However, the Fame part of the story actually has a tie to where you're at right now because I started mid-tour.
In my house?
Not your house, but the downtown center near Riverwalk.
Get right on out of town.
Yes, near Riverwalk. I started at, I believe it's the Sanger Theater, is it?
Nope.
Oh, shit, no, that's New Orleans. What's the downtown theater, the main theater?
The Majestic?
That's it. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, so started there.
Your first show for Fame the Musical tour was in San Antonio.
Right there in San Antonio.
We'll get right on out of town. How cool is that?
I know. And I gave you guys a special show. The reason being I had not
worn pants. You had forgot to wear pants.
Yeah, pretty much. No, basically, because the show that I came in on, everybody knew the routine. Of course, I'm a mid-season person coming in and taking over, and everybody knew the ending fame dance where you end up on the cab and everybody's like, fame, I had about 3/4 of it, and I realized I'm not a dancer. Okay, I never said I was a dancer. I never told them I was a dancer. And, I auditioned with the music and I auditioned as an actor. And my character was the acting coach. So I didn't really think there'd be part of any dance number, but everybody was at the end. So I memorized about 3/4 of it. And the dance captain, Tanita, was like, okay, well, just at the end of the show, it's okay. Go on, follow the rest of the people around you until you all end up on the cab and, put your hands up and there you go, fame, And so we got to the part of the dance number that I didn't remember. And there was this turn that needed to happen. And I saw everybody start to turn. And so I turned and did a full turn. And I'm facing the audience in San Antonio. I'm like, hey, guys. And I realized that the entire line of people had done a half turn. So they were all looking at me and I was looking at the audience going, okay, I'm going to, vamp my way out of this. And so I did another half turn around to join them. But by then the choreography had gone on and they did another half turn. Now they were facing the audience and my ass was to the San Antonio public. Yes. Anyway,
I love this.
Everybody around me, upon seeing that I was now facing the other direction and they're all staring at my butt, they started laughing. So all the dancers around me started missing their cues. Like the whole ending number of that first night, I wish to apologize to your listening audience in San Antonio. We did not have our act together. It was my responsibility and mine alone.
Again, this is going to sound derogatory toward you, and I apologize. But
that's all right.
It doesn't sound like the show didn't have their act together. It sounds like you did.
That is true. They provided all the materials that I needed to be completely prepared. And sadly, I wasn't. It took me quite a bit longer to memorize the dance numbers that I didn't have any idea what I was doing than it did the other people because they all knew what they were doing.
Also, this just in, you're not a dancer.
No, I'm not. No,
so that one's not really on you, man. That's on them.
It's I'm proud to say that I am disclosing all of that information.
So, couple of things.
Yeah.
You have been in a few Ron Howard movies.
I have.
Is that just a coincidence, or does he love you so much he just keeps calling you on your cell phone?
You Uncle Ron?
Yeah.
I mean, what I meant to say was Ron Howard? Why, no. No, it's not a coincidence. And I'm not the only one that he does this with. Ron is very well known for working with the same people throughout his career because he develops relationships with people. He inspires confidence in his actors, and hopefully they inspire confidence in him, and goes back and forth, and that love fest turns out to be something special on screen.
That makes 100% sense. And that sounds like Ron.
It's a really, really nice quality. And so I've been lucky enough to be part of that. And that's how I ended up in the Ron Howard films that I've been lucky to be in.
From an outsider who's not in the biz, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, not to be disparaging, but, if I have a gardener or a pool guy who I think does a good job, guess what I do? I hire him again. So
yeah.
Well, why wouldn't it be the same?
Exactly. And
I know it's not exactly the same thing because, landscaping and pool cleaning is much harder.
Little bit different. Yeah.
It's much harder than what you do. Just kidding. Previous guest of this show, Tom Malloy.
Oh, I love it.
You're friends with this dude, and
I am definitely friends with this dude.
Super good dude.
Yes.
He was on a few years ago promoting, I believe it was a slasher film called #Screamers.
Yes.
And I believe he has a new film coming out that you are a part of.
Yes.
Please tell me about Ask Me to Dance.
Ask Me to Dance. It is a rom-com. It is a romantic comedy. It is his first time directing himself. So it's he's the lead and the director. And
who directed the rest of the cast?
No, he directed the rest of the cast as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But meaning he was the actor director on this one, which is daunting for any actor.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, he was crazed. And luckily he had a lot of he's kind of like Ron Howard. He'll hire a lot of the people that he trusts on his films. And so everybody kind of knew to be as supportive as they possibly could. And it turned out great. The film looks fantastic. Frankly, I think the priest in it is the best part of the whole darn movie.
Oh, yeah. Who's that?
Yeah, I think it was played by Gabe Jarret. I think it was that guy, Gabriel Jarret. Yeah, he's
any relation?
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I was just wondering.
Yeah. So anyway, he carried the film, but thank God he was there. But he hired me as a priest, which I think anybody insane enough to do that certainly has written something funny on the screen. Definitely worth seeing. So
Nice.
Yeah.
This film, besides you carrying this film, there's an actress in here that I don't think we've seen in a while, and she is the lovely and effervescent Joyce DeWitt.
Joyce DeWitt.
Please tell me about your time with Joyce DeWitt.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was shorter than I would want it to be.
Oh, I get it, because she's short. That's
no,
a
not
terrible
because
thing to
she's
say.
short. Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Thank you very much. No. It's just a shorter, meaning not the length of person, because let me tell you, for her short stature, she is a giant, sir.
Oh, she's awesome.
She is a giant, and she's absolutely fantastic. I can't imagine anybody with more energy on set, no matter what their age. But she plays the grandmother of one of the girls that's in the leads, and she's just got so much energy coming out of her that it's just like she's such a joy to work with. Yeah, Joyce DeWitt is awesome.
I can't imagine how difficult it was for you to concentrate working with her, because I know she raised you.
She
raised me.
She raised all of us. Yes,
She did raise all of us.
Well, it said during our Formula years, that's when her show was on.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, Ask Me to Dance. Did Tom write it too?
Yes.
So, written and directed and starring Tom Malloy.
Yeah, and that's a first for him. He's been doing it a long time and never really wanted to go there because
it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard on you all the way around.
So, when is this movie coming out?
Ask Me to Dance is coming out at the beginning of this year. We don't exactly have a release date yet, and that'll be forthcoming pretty soon. But sometime beginning of this year, we should have a release date, and it'll be good. Whatever it's on and wherever it is, it'll be good. But we'll get that to you as quickly as we have the date.
Is it going to be streaming?
Yep. It'll be streaming for sure. If it sees theaters, we won't know that until that date comes around.
Gotcha. Cool. Everybody, keep your ears peeled and your eyes peeled for Ask Me to Dance, starring the wonderful Gabe Jarret, Joyce DeWitt, and former guest Tom Malloy.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
It is 2140. You are trapped in an underground bunker, built a century ago to protect mankind from the pandemic on the surface. Now ruled by tyrants and their robot army. You are an outcast, an orphan, a scavenger, blind, afraid, and alone. You are Ace, a survivor, and you will try to escape this place known as Subterra. Subscribe to Subterra at iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
You have yet another movie coming out. Or it might actually already be out. Anne Heche's 13 Minutes.
That's right. The film is about 4 different sections of the town, and my section wasn't with hers.
Please God, tell me this is not a town in Kentucky.
No, this is in Oklahoma.
Oh,
yeah.
Tornado capital of the world.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
El Reno, Oklahoma, and that's where the real life Twister hit. That's where we shot as well.
So this is based on a true story?
Yeah. The 13 minutes is the time it takes between when you hear the sirens and when your ass better be in a shelter because it's coming through.
So I have many questions.
Oh, please go
You
ahead.
guys filmed this movie in the place where it really happened.
Yeah.
Is that genius or extremely insensitive?
We were welcomed very with open arms to the town. They were very friendly. A lot of the people that were hired on the movie actually went through the disaster. They had a great time on it. They were invaluable to the producers and us as far as like knowing what the level of fear and hopelessness and helplessness that associates with disasters of this magnitude. And it was good to have that perspective and really a positive experience. I don't think it was insensitive at all, although I could see why you'd be like, oh, geez, you're going to make them relive it. But I think this was, in many ways, this was a measure of control that they were able to get out of something that already happened to them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that having some people participate who were there for the actual event probably does lend a lot of atmosphere, even behind the scenes when the cameras are off in regards to what the people actually went through. Like the previous aforementioned Apollo 13, there was some of those dudes on the set all the time.
Oh, you bet. Right. We had a lot of folks there from that launch. Yeah.
Not like that movie, The Alamo, which not a single frame of it was shot in San Antonio. So stupid. So stupid.
You sound a little bitter over this.
Well, I don't know why. I wasn't around for either one of those events. So what do I care? We didn't talk a whole lot about it. So let's talk about it real fast.
Okay, go for it.
Tell me why you are an American Sign Language interpreter. And also, are there rules that you can't wear like crazy outlandish suits and shirts and shit because you're pulling focus the whole time?
Well, okay, why do you know this? Yes, there is, as a matter of fact.
Good. There has to be, because you're already taking the focus. You can't.
Oh yeah, I know.
You can't be dressed like Bozo the Clown or something.
That's right. And actually, that's kind of one of the challenges for me is that when I am actually working as an interpreter, I don't blend into the background quickly. So I tend to have to tone it down to the point where I'm practically not speaking, just only, what is pertaining to my job. And even then, sometimes it doesn't work. But yeah, no, you definitely have to make sure that you're not wearing anything loud that's going to distract from, the conversation that's being had that you are not a part of. You're actually a conduit for it, but that's it. You're not supposed to be pulling focus at all. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That's part of it.
That's fantastic. What got you into it? And every once in a while, just to see if people are paying attention, do you throw in gang signs?
No. Don't throw in gang signs because sometimes it'll get you shot.
Only sometimes.
Sometimes it will.
But you grew up on the hard streets.
In the mean streets. But in fairness, in my ASL career, I did start out in the prison system.
I'm sorry?
In the prison system.
What were you in for?
I was interpreting for a client that was in the prison system, and the client needed my services. That was at California Youth Authority, which is now the DOJJ.
Gotcha. Was the lawyer Mark Garagos? Just
absolutely
kidding.
Not.
He's everywhere.
No, he wasn't here.
So what made you do it? Why?
Because I, as an actor during the lean times, because it's feast or famine, sometimes you're working a lot, sometimes you're working not at all. And I was tired of that roller coaster. It was just getting real old. And then when you're, not working as an actor, a lot of times you'll pick up odd jobs or gig jobs or whatever. And it's not something that you're going to look forward to typically. It's usually something menial. And I wanted something that I could also look forward to where I didn't have to depend so much on Hollywood to give me the thumbs up. So knowing that I was not going to not be an actor, because that's my first love. What kind of career do you have where you can leave your job and come back 2 months later and it's still there? But freelance interpreting has provided that for me. And YASL, the skill set of an actor is almost identical to that as an interpreter. Facial expression, body language.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you listening, if you haven't been paying attention, if you look down on your listening device, on your iPhone or your, God forbid, iPod, or whatever you're listening to this on, if you look down to the bottom right corner, Gabe has been translating this entire episode in American Sign Language.
No.
Gabriel, as we're winding down, can you tell people where they can find you on social media?
Sure, at Gabriel Jarret. Pretty much everything's going to be my name. So Gabriel Jarret is going to be on Instagram and Facebook and all the rest of it. Just type in my name, full name, 2 R's, 1 T, and you'll be good.
But not Twitter, right?
You can do it on Twitter, too. I'm on Twitter. I just try and de-emphasize Twitter because I haven't used it a whole lot.
You mean like since 2017?
You checked?
No, I checked.
You suck.
I'm the worst.
Oh, my God. Okay, I feel digitally shamed. You shouldn't digitally shame people, you know that. It's rude these days, I consider.
Well, what's the American Sign Language response to being digitally shamed?
I could show you, but they would have to edit it out.
Fantastic. You said something in an interview I heard. I don't remember if it was last week or a couple of years ago. You said one of the funniest things that I've ever heard somebody say about American Sign Language.
Which is what?
You said that, of course you learned all the bad words first, because that's what we all do.
Right.
But then you said, and it was the best part, you followed that up with, and most of the signs are exactly what you think they are.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah, it's exactly what you would think it would be. Yeah.
So right now I'm going to ask you to show me the sign for. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh man. Before I let you go, Gabe, is there anything we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about that you wanted to talk about today?
My thoughts on global warming?
Don't care.
Great. I want to know.
Is it a series with Kate Bosworth?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You still haven't asked me about that, and I'm really insulted.
So what were you going to say for real?
What I was really going to say is Dick's still on the Riverwalk?
There's plenty of Dick's on the Riverwalk.
No. I mean the restaurant.
Yes,
Dick's.
I believe it is Dick's Last Resort.
There you go. That's the one.
Yeah, that's still there, man.
And they still got the menus on the ceiling?
Sure.
Have you been in there?
No, they have a reputation for being assholes.
That's because it's called Dick's.
Why would I want to pay for that kind of treatment when I get it for free from you?
I'm sorry. I love that place for that very reason.
Yeah?
Because if you're ever going to dial out like that is negative in your industry, just put it up front like that. If you can put Dick's up there and then all your tired, pissed off servers that usually get no tips whatsoever, all of a sudden they're the stars because
I am curious. What do you got to do to get fired from a place like that?
Be nice.
Nice. Tell me about this series that you did.
Yeah, it's called Bring on the Dancing Horses. It is starring Kate Bosworth, written and directed by Michael Polish. We had a great time shooting it. And
is it a period piece? What's it about?
It is a time amorphous piece. It does not have a time period. However, it does look retro in many ways because it's got facets of all of time in it that we recognize. It's basically a Western. Kate Bosworth is killing a whole bunch of people.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. You say that facetiously, my friend, but it was a lot of fun. And basically, my character goes in and cleans up the mess from all the bodies she leaves behind.
Wow. That sounds perfect for some Disney characters like Heckle and Jekyll to be involved in.
I know, right? Needless to say, these were not those particular Heckles and Jekylls.
Oh, gotcha. No Heckles and or Jekylls were harmed in the making of this series.
No, not in the making of this film. However,
it's a series, right?
It is a series. It's and we did 10 episodes so far.
Oh, wow.
We do not know the platform it's going to be on yet, or if they do know, they have not told me yet.
Sure. I know. Do you want me to tell you?
Well, you do not.
I do not.
You do not. Okay, thank you.
I sure don't.
I was like holding my breath going, did you find something out? What'd you know?
It's going to be on ABC, and also they cut your character.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Neither of those would surprise me. But yeah, so our dialogue is in sign language. It's not the reason I got hired, but it certainly didn't hurt the fact that I could sign.
Oh, you know what? Real quick.
Yeah.
Everybody look for that. It's called Bring on the Dancing Horses. It's coming out sometime, someplace.
Yes.
Back to your romantic comedy, Ask Me to Dance.
Yes.
With Joyce DeWitt. Also, there's a gentleman in there named Jesse Kove.
There is a gentleman in there named Jesse Kove.
Now, that means that you got to work with him and his father? Did you?
Yeah.
How fun was that?
I didn't work with them at the same time. It was many years in between.
That would have been super weird.
Yeah. Marty Kove.
Crease.
But yeah, Crease, the famed Crease. He's the reason that I was in Karate Kid in the first place. He actually brought me in to see John Avildsen and then the audition and then,
How did you know Marty?
Marty is best friends with my dad. He and my dad know each other, and there was a little triumvirate there between him, my dad, and an actor named Gary Lockwood. And, the three of them are best friends. So basically, I got to work with my dad's best friend on Karate Kid 3. And then, of course, I was a little bit ahead of Jesse in age, didn't even know that he was working on this with Tom until I got to the set.
Oh, really?
When Tom informed me who was playing the character that I was marrying, because my character, the priest, ends up marrying this couple. And he said, Jesse Kove. And I went, wait, what? Jesse Kove? Jesse Kove?
You're all, wait, my cousin Jesse Kove? Uncle Marty's kid?
And Tom was like, yeah, he's over there in the corner. I'm like, ah! So, yeah, we didn't know. We had no idea each other was working on it until then.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, with that.
Yes.
Gabe Jarret, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic COVID-filled schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate it.
Really appreciate you having me on. It was a blast.
I had a lot of fun, sir.
Yes, sir. Me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I had a blast.
Yeah, ditto.
I had a lot of fun.
All right. Hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Give that warning to Clint because it's coming. It's coming.
Don't think I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
you.
buddy. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
You
All
too.
right, bye.
Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2001 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jack's Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend, subscribe, and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.